Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry for the delay. I think I was having some serious network issues, just trying to fix it up before starting. Wow, our time is fast spent. Uh, please confirm you can see my screen so that we can quickly do the review of the remaining time that we have. Good morning, everyone, once again. My name is Victor, and I'm going to Okay, we're back again. Good morning once again, everyone. Yes, I was asking if you can see my screen actually. If you can see my screen, just drop a yes on the chat for me. If you can see my screen and you can hear me, please drop a yes on the chat for me. Okay, all right. That's good. Yeah, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so quickly, due to our time, let's quickly dive into what the market is saying for today, May 20th of August 2025. I think I have more responses. Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. All right, now this is USD JPY. Now, naturally, we know that this guy is an uptrend instrument. So it goes to the upside more. But one of the downsides of trading USD JPY is that whenever it wants to retrace, the retracement can be fatal, right? The retracement can be crazy. Now, once in a while, it does some crazy retracements. So hence, once you want to trade USD JPY, or in fact, I generally uh, teach this majorly, you want to look out for the higher time frame perspective, where price is going, your directional bias, and where price is most likely to pull back to in case of a major pullback. So for instance, if I go to my daily time frame and I zoom out, now you see that price has not really had that momentum, but I can still see some momentum push to the upside from here, right? I can still see, let me hide this floating panel. Okay, so you can see price still pushing to the upside from here, right? Now, that means my uptrend is not sharp at the moment. So what do I do? From my daily time frame, I want to look out for previous areas where price has broken and price came back to retest. previous areas where price has broken and price came back to retest. All right. Now you find out that this level here has been a major support level for price. This level here has been a major support level for price, as well as this level right here. Excuse me. As well as this particular level right here. Okay. Now, the moment price bounce off this particular level that has been put on. So I have two levels. It's either this level or this particular level right here, right? Now, anytime price bounces off of this level, it starts heading to the upside. And at least price should, the last time it bounced off this level, this was how high it went. The second time it bounced off of this level, this was how high it went. And this is the third time. So I'm expecting that price should at least get to either this level again or this level to keep up our upward momentum on the USD JPY. Okay, so hence I'm going to be looking for buy opportunities. So on my 4 hours, you can see price has gotten to that point and is beginning to push up. So what I can do on my 4 hours is I'll look for a previous high that has been broken and retested. A previous high that has been broken, and I wait for price to come back to that level to retest again, right? A previous high that has been broken, and I wait for price to come back to that level again. So what do I mean? So for instance, there are two levels I'm working with now. This first level here, then you see this previous high that was broken. Yeah. Now this high is 1. You did it twice here, 3 times. All right. Now price has finally rested or is finally resting above this particular high here. So now this is what I'm talking about. So on a 1 hour time frame, one of two things can happen. I would have preferred if price was very close to this level. Now that price is not close to this level, so one of two things will happen. It's either price comes back all the way down to this level before starting to push up again, or price just keeps going up from this level. So this is one of two things that can happen. So I would want to see price come all the way to this level, bearish, before I buy it up again all the way to the upside. All right, that's for USD JPY. So if price was very close to this level, we would have been going bullish right now. But so we need price to come here for us to buy. Now, sometimes, price might not come into that level before it buys. In the long run, I expect USD JPY to be bullish, right? In the long run, I expect it to be bullish. Now, USD, Euro USD, the Euro dollar, the same analysis. Now, for the Euro dollar, it looks more clearer. What do I mean? I look for previous areas like this where price has broken. Then I wait for price to retest. After price broke here, you can see this bearish candle came in back to retest, to pull off. Then you can see this previous resistance. The moment it was broken again, price came back all the way to retest. Now, what we are doing is, if you go back to last week's my last week's session on this same MMR, you will see this same analysis. If you go back to last week, Wednesday, like I always tell you, go back to every video that I do. For instance, this one now, go back to YouTube, watch this video over and over again, and it will become very clear. All right, faith, they say comment by hearing. You need to listen here and here and hear this over and over again for you to understand it very well. Now, price coming back into this point before pulling off again, then if not for time, I would have explained much more in detail. All right. So hence you see this point broken, hence price retested, came lower, but it's still above. So on my daily, this is the area where I will still be buying up because I still expect Euro USD bullish. to be bullish at least up until this very point here. Before we can say, okay, the bullishness is ending, price should get here, which is still far. That's our weekly, right? So hence, if I go back to my lower time frame, my 4-hour time frame, I'm still looking for key levels. So this is another key level for my 4 hours. Price might not come all the way here. So hence, I would be buying if price can come anywhere here, which I think price is still close. So I expect price to be bullish for the rest of today. For today, at least, price can get either here or even here for today. I expect Euro USD to be bullish for today, right? So please, I don't know if you understand how the analysis right now. Do you understand the rationale behind the buying that we are doing on the euro dollar this morning? Okay. So it's because overall, from the higher time frame perspective, the euro dollar looks bullish. Like it looks bullish. It has been going to the upside on my daily time frame. You can see it has been pulling up massively, right? So as it's pulling up massively, we are just looking for areas where we can actually buy. And where you can buy is where you look out for where price has broken out from and you wait for price to retest that level. If it can, then you have a good trade. Sometimes it might not. Sometimes it might not retest that level, but most often than not, it does retest that level. Now, when it does retest the level, that is where you have a good trade. And when it does, and you have a good trade, the trade will last for days, possibly weeks. So what do I mean? If I go to my 1 hour time frame now, and I go back a little to the previous level price bounced off of. Okay. So say when price broke above this level and it came, we tested, all right, and we broke structure and price actually started going to the upside. You notice that it went to the upside for days, as in 1, 2, 3, almost 4, 5, 6. 6 days consecutively, price was doing more bullish movements, all right, for like 6 days consecutively. So which makes it very, very interesting for us. Once you have that confirmation and you are buying, it's going to be good. You're welcome, Sofemi Ayola. Thank you so much. Okay. Yes, it's actually simple. It's nothing complicated. It's just you know exactly what you are looking for. So your analysis is when price comes to you, then you take your trade. Um, so let's see GBP USD. GBP USD is doing almost similar to Euro USD. I've not checked this morning, but let's see it. Um, so this is how it looks like on the 1 hour time frame. GBP USD. This is how it looks like. Now, if I go to my daily, you also agree with me that this has been very, very bullish. This is my daily time frame. You can see how bullish it has been, right? Price has been pushing to the upside for a while now, right? Which is very good. Now, how do I attack this? Which means I'd like to buy. The only thing is entry point and patience. Yes, actually, that's the only thing. Entry point and patience. Analysis is not really that of a big deal, but it's still a big deal for those who do not really know how to analyze. Okay, it's still a big deal. So now the same thing we do. Now this is the technique, right? It's more preferred. You can see this level. This was a high, which was later it did double top, which was later broken, right? It's good, but it's more preferable for me to have a high that price actually retraced massively. That massive retracement makes this point a very good level for me. Okay, so if I mark this high that was finally broken and I extend it, it's very good because there's a lot of liquidity around those levels. A lot of liquidity around those levels. And what price needs to move is liquidity. So once price can grab it, then it's good. Okay. Endurance. I think your question is very interesting. I think I should answer that. So it says with the lower low that Euro USD is doing on a daily time frame, I thought it has changed structure to the downside. Okay, let me answer. Let me go back to the Euro USD. This is Euro USD, right? Yes, it broke this particular low. It broke this low, which makes this area a supply area and is respecting that supply area. You are right. Okay. So take for instance, let's go back a bit. Now, let me go to the daily time frame. Say, as at this area here, let me mark it down. Let's see. Now, I want to do this so that every other person on this call can actually learn from that question, right? Can learn from the question. So from here all the way to here, all the way to here. Let me put it this way. Now, you can see after price broke above this particular level here, this resistance here, this high, price broke above. Now, you mark this level here. For you to have a good trade, like I said, price should come back to retest this level. When it does, we need to see another push up, right? The process of price coming back to retest this level, this is on the daily time frame. If you put it on your 1 hour time frame, it will form a downward trend for you on the 1 hour. I mean, this push here, from here all the way to here, is going to form a downward trend on 1 hour. Let's go. Let's see it. It's going to form a downward trend on 1 hour. Okay, this is the end point, and this is the starting point. Good. This is the starting point. This is the initial push from the top, right? From the top all the way, to the downside, which means this was where that resistance was broken. And we need price, okay, the lower one here. We need price to come back and retest. So definitely it will have to be doing lower lows to get there. So one would think that we are on a downward trend on a 1 hour time frame. That's why it's most important for you to look out for the higher time frame. All of this downward trend is in a bid to come into this area here. All right. So on your daily time frame, once price gets here, it's expected that it ought to start pushing to the upside. So you see a market structure shift or a break in a change of character all the way to the upside. So it stops doing lower low, it starts doing higher high, starts doing higher high, higher high, higher high, all the way. Although we can have some break, in between news will come out and stuff that would delay that process of pushing up, but eventually it continues pushing up, pushing up, pushing up until it gets to a point where it can't push up again. And at that point, it would have broken another structure on a higher time frame. Then we have all this sell that will bring us back into this level that we marked for us to push up again, for us to start pushing up again. And that's where we are right now, okay? So like I said, you might not understand 100% right now. You need to go back to this video on YouTube, watch it over and over again. You will understand exactly what I'm saying, okay? So yeah, we are on GBP USD. We need to hurry, but copy and paste this strategy on anything you are trading, anything whatsoever, as long as you can identify that areas where you need to mark. So for instance, you can see this previous high, massive retracement. I'm looking for areas with massive retracement, which is here. Then finally broken. I mark the high. You can see price did a retest and push to the upside, right? Now, sometimes we can mark another lower one, but it is not as strong as now, which is it created this high, obviously, right? Because there was still this retracement. It did. So if I mark it down here, you notice that it came back to retest it. As at these levels, it came back to these levels to retest. Now, it came all the way back to this lower one because there was not enough liquidity around this area to fuel that movement to the upside massively that it needs. Hence, it came back the first time, it came back the second time, it came back the third time, and it came back the fourth time. Now, it found much more liquidity below, the previous one we marked before that it took off from, right? Before going to the upside. That's why I usually have like two levels, at least two levels that I can be buying from, okay? So you'll notice that this is where I want to be doing my buys from. And if I go to my 4 hours, you see this level, right? You see this level cleanly, and on my 1 hour, price is just bouncing off of that level, which means I expect price to keep pushing up because it's closer to this level. So it might not come back there again. So it has taken off. It's going to the upside. All right. So GBP USD also most likely is going to be bullish. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. All right. Okay, NZD USD, we were looking out for a continuous buy then, which price did. Now it's pushing to the upside. So it's going to do a buy or then to sell. Now, this is why. This is my daily. These are the levels marked. Now, guess what? This is on a downward trend. Let me zoom lower. So you can see NZD USD is on the downward trend. This is my daily, right? My daily on the downtrend, pushing lower and lower and lower. Now, it ought to use this level here as a resistance to keep pushing lower, but it broke above, which means we're expecting it to bounce off and still buy. But because it's a downward trend, at some point, you should break this level and go to the lower, down to the downside. Now, for the first time, it's actively breaking below this level again. Okay, it's breaking below this particular level. So on NZD USD is going to be a sell trade. Worst case that can happen, any buy can just do a little buy, let's say halfway of this massive push to the downside. So this is an imbalance which price might insist on covering before continuing to the downside. So NZD USD is going to be a sell. All right, NZ is very low, hence you are seeing that break. It's going to be more of a sell trade at the moment. Okay, so let's move to other things. USD CHF. Let's see. Is it this? Was it this one we did the last time? USD CHF. So unlike a the upward trend where you're waiting for price to go up, do a retracement, and then do a break of this level. The retracement is creating this high. Then do a break of this high. So we mark this level and wait for a retest into this level before we can keep buying again. Now, on the downward trend, the direct opposite. Just flip this chart to the downside, all right? Flip this chart to the downside is the direct opposite. When price on the downtrend, that's what we are looking out for. So now this is what we are looking out for on the downtrend. Let me look at these questions first. We'll get to that. I need to look at the various fundamentals that we have in order to ascertain this. Okay, so now that we have this one on a downtrend, you can clearly see USD is on a downtrend, right? So which means we are looking out for more of sell opportunities, more of sell opportunities, okay? So my daily time frame, I look out for where price broke from. You can see this low. It did some massive retracement and it broke this low. So I mark this area for price to retrace into for us to continue selling. So on my 1 hour time frame, waiting for price to get into this level. Excuse me. So after breaking around here, waited for price. You need to push all the way up to this level to retest. Now it did. It looked like I wanted to break it, but it didn't hold. Right. Now price is looking at coming to the downside. Mr. Endurance, I see your question. I'm going to answer it. I just don't want to lose this line of thought. Now price got here. I need a shift in the market to the downside, right? Which I got here, which makes this my protected high. And this level becomes my ultimate supply level here. I'm not expecting price to go above here again. Right, that's my ultimate supply level. Now, created this again as another supply level. So if you want to trade it as demand and supply, it's also good. Well, so sorry, this level's right here. So In other words, I still expect USD CHF to push to the downside. USD CHF is still more of a bearish move than a bullish move. As long as it does not exceed my supply area, then I'm still fine. The supply area, mind you, is the last buy before a massive sell. It's similar to other block, but not exactly, right? So the last buy before a massive sell, you can see it's massive sells, right? So I would take this last buy, the last bullish candle, yeah, before the sell. So which means that price can push to the upside. It doesn't matter if you break structure to the upside. If it goes to the upside, it look like an upward trend. You need to know where price is moving from and where it's moving to. And where when it gets here, you can be shocked that, oh, it broke structure to the upside. So I'm looking at an upward trend. All of a sudden, to break structure again to the downside because all the break of structure to the upside is in a bid to get to this point. And when it gets here, the sell starts. It starts breaking structure to the downside. All right. So it can insist on getting here, but in the long run, I still expect USD CHF to sell based on our analysis. Based on the analysis. Okay, this is US 30. Now, the same thing you can do for indices, US 30. Unlike currencies, indices one might be, the retracement might be longer. All right, so you can have like two areas, sometimes even more, at least two areas. I don't want to do as much as three. I don't want to leave that much room for guesswork. So three areas. Say, for instance, here, this is what I mean. When price, okay, let me look at this question. Gold with the okay. All right, so when price pushed to this level here, this level is one. Price never came back to this level. Price never came back to this level. Um, sorry, I need to push it. Okay, this is the resistance, is here. This is the high. Okay, so if I extend it now to the future, price almost came here. Okay, so I have another high here that price broke off of. This is a high, a good one, a major, because there was a major retracement, right? So if I mark this high, you would find out that price retested this level. So when it broke above, you can see it came back, retest, but came back inside, retested, and is pushing to the upside, right? Good. And if we also do the same thing for here, now there are conditions for you to know if it will hold or if it will break. If the condition does not hold, then you wouldn't have a good trade. So for instance, it's just like saying, oh, if price gets to that particular point, how do I know if it's going to buy off from there or it will not buy? How do I know if it's not going to buy, if it's going to break it? Yes, there are ways you can know, actually. In fact, there's a way you can know. You need the fractal to help you to determine that, actually. So this is the current low that I'm going to be buying from on my daily time frame. And this is the highest point thus far. Which price is there now? Which is if price is going to be doing how many bottom, first, second, third, fourth, fifth top, there might be a sell-off, but you know indices now, they are uptrend. So there's still room that it can break it to create a new high. All right. So on my 4 hour time frame, let's see. Hope I didn't zoom low. Okay. Our price is looks very, very far from my point of interest, which means this is the lowest point here, which I'll possibly want to be dealing with right now. Let's see. Where's my, excuse me. Okay. You can see this is where I want to be buying from. but price is very far from that level at the moment. And price has hit this line. See this highest point here? You can see this highest point here. So there is every tendency that price can push lower. Push lower to 1, this level. Okay, let's see this previous high broken. And it can push lower to 2, all the way back to this level. So I'm in for a sell trade on US 30. The only condition for which my bias is going to change for a buy is if price actually breaks above this level, then I will expect a retest. For that retest to hold, then we'll push further to the upside. Okay. The same thing for US 100. Let me see. Okay, US 100 is not the same. All right. So this is for US 100 now. This levels here that was broken, it still hasn't been retested. So I'll keep this level. I'm going to keep this level because price can do some massive sells all the way back to that point. All right. So two things will happen. I have this level also on my 4 hours, which I've kept here. Now, it's either price comes back to all the way to this level right here, because after breaking above these levels, retested, it broke below, retested again. Is either it comes here or worst case here, right? So until it does that, I'm still going to be selling US 100. So you will understand that yesterday there was a massive sell for US 100. You can see it has been giving you clues it wants to sell. It's not every time you buy. There are times where after it has gone to the upside, broken structure, it needs to do a retest all the way back to that point you've marked. So that retest, I'm expecting it, and I'm expecting it to sell all the way to this very point here. Now, unfortunately, yesterday's sell was very massive, which means that price can decide to do a little bit of pullback into this level. There's a massive imbalance here. Mark this level. For those who understand fair value gap, there's a massive imbalance around this fair value gap, which if you can tap here, then we can have a continuous sell to bring us here. All right. So I still expect US 100 to be bearish. Then let's look at wheat as an agro commodity. Wheat. Okay. Sorry, just a sec. All right. I think we're good now. All right. Sorry about that. So wheat is doing a lot of range, But if you can see that range, you notice that it's pushing us to the downside, right? This is this is on the daily. Now on the weekly time frame, you see it does not have a permanent direction. You cannot pinpoint that this is clearly down or clearly up. So it means it moved from range to range. You see this upper range, you see this other range, you see this lower range. Then there's obviously going to be another downward range. Data which my MT4 is not providing for me at the moment. Now, so it goes up, it goes down. Now, hence, there is still some room that price can still shift to the downward. Now, so based on our daily time frame here for wheat, which suggests that price wants to still push to the downside until these lows are perfectly broken. We wouldn't be able to know where to get into. Now you can see now this low has been broken. Okay, now this low has been broken, right? So which means we expect a retracement to and a further push. Meanwhile, the retracement might not happen now. It can keep pushing to the downside. Okay, so let's look at how it will look like on our lower time frame. First, my 4 hours. Good. I have another break on my 4 hours. I have another break, which is here, and which price has retested and is currently pushing lower. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This other break here. Price broke, retested a bit. This low, price came down. It has broken this low now, and I'm expecting a retracement into these levels for us to have a continuous sell. So I still expect wheat to be bearish. But if you see wheat going to the upside, this is where I expect it to get to before it turns and continues going to the downside. Right? Now, coffee also has been massively bullish, massively extremely bullish. This is one of my favorites also. So you can see these levels now, although it's bullish, like overall, it's bullish, right? Overall, you can see it's bullish overall. So I'm expecting buy. And this is exactly what we did after this previous high was broken. You can see it didn't retest immediately first, then this one retested, then came all the way here. Now it's pushing to the upside, which means I wouldn't be quick to go and sell just because price got to this point. It's a natural uptrend, so it should break above this level. Now it's breaking above this level. So when it breaks successfully above that level, I expect a retracement before I can buy. So I expect a retracement into this level. Where I was expecting retracement, price just tapped there yesterday. And you can see a continuous push, which means if I look at it on my 1 hour, you can see this high here. But this is 4 hours now. You see this high here that I got to before it did this massive retracement, right? When it broke above it, notice that it did a quick retest before continuing. And if I want to continue it, I'm going to do the same thing. You can see this high it got to before this retest happened. When it broke the high again, you notice that it did a quick retest before it kept pushing up. That is exactly what we are going to be doing to keep buying. All right. And where are we going to be buying till price gets to? Where are we going to be buying till price get to? We are going to be buying until price gets to this. Price gets to this or these levels. All right. These two levels are key areas that we are going to be buying to. So when price gets to this point here, we'll hold on for a buy. Watch out for a market shift. It might decide to do some retracement. Now, in between price pushing to this side, there will be some pullbacks. And I'm showing you how to manage those pullbacks to keep entering your trade like this now on a 1 hour time frame. Look for a major area price did a massive retracement from. Mark that high. When price goes back and breaks above that retracement, mark that level. Price needs to retrace back into it for you to have a good trade. If it doesn't, you don't have a good trade. But if it does, you have a good trade. Right? So if I'm buying it here, my stop loss can be somewhere below right here. All right. So in case it breaks it, then I expect the retracement back into these levels. Now, if I'm buying from here also, my stop loss should be somewhere down here. If it breaks my stop loss, then I'll wait for it at this previous level again. So this is how we trade, and this is how we manage our trades. This is how we turn our losses back into winning. So you find out that if you have one loss, right? The next trade is going to cover back for that particular loss. Now, trading is not difficult. Trading requires a strategy like I'm showing you right now. Trading requires risk management around the strategy. Then trading requires some level of psychological toughness, which means that if I enter the trade, even when it's going to profit, I shouldn't just snap out my profit. I can allow it to run because I know from what point to what point price ought to move. This is how you make massive profit. So instead of me to make 10,000, 20,000 on that trade, I can make 50, I can make 100. If the lot size is higher, I can make 200, 300, 500. All right. So watch out for making 1 million on a trade. It's like that's like the goal. Making 7 figures on one single trade. Okay. Now, doing that, you can't use small lot size. You need to use higher lot size. If you can understand my strategy, you will know that lower lot size does not make sense because the trades are much more surer now. The probability of price going your way is very high. So you want to maximize profitability. Reason because I analyze, I anticipate. That means I wait for price to get there. And when it gets there, I have a good trade. I go all in. So these trades, I will make massive profit on a single trade. I don't pursue every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the market. All right. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Unfortunately, we don't have much time for me to take questions or answer your questions. I'm so sorry. But let me just drop my number. You can reach out to me if you have any. I'm so sorry, Mr. Carl. I'm so sorry. I can't go into it. I have another meeting by 9, which I'm supposed to be in right now. Right? I'm supposed to be in. So the best I can do right now is to drop my number. Please take it down, reach out to me, then we'll take it from there, right? So 080 265 82493. 080 265 82493. I'll call it one more time. I'll call it one more time for those who are trying to get it down. All right, this is my number 080 265 82493. Victor, they also call me Bishop. All right. Looking forward to hearing from you. Have a lovely and profitable day. Thank you so much.